Hey guys, welcome back to CLOCKWISE Crypto. Hope you guys are moving forward in everything that you do. Diving right in for a market update. A ton of things happening in the crypto industry, but there are some things that are occurring that are going to change the game forever. Let's start here. Let's dive right into it. Taking a look here. Federal Reserve withdraws crypto unfriendly banking guidance. So if you guys don't remember, what was happening is if you're in crypto, affiliated with crypto anyway, whether you're retail or if you're big funds, pretty much, the Fed is rescinding its supervisory letter from 2022 that called for notification in advance of planned or ongoing crypto asset activities. And really what was happening, it was trickling down into the banking industry as well. Banks were closing accounts and refusing to do business with people that are affiliated with Bitcoin or affiliated with, they see a Coinbase transaction or any crypto exchange transaction go into their bank account. They were suspending the banking relationship. That was happening everywhere. So this is huge. So you see here, the U.S. Federal Reserve announces withdrawing guidance that served to deter banks from engaging in crypto and stablecoin activities. The board is rescinding its 2022 advisory letter, establishing an expectation that state member banks provide advance notification of planned or current crypto asset activities. And yes, like this was happening, and this is for the banks, but the adverse action to that, I should say, really was that if you were affiliated with crypto of any kind, banks would essentially be afraid to have a banking relationship with you, and it didn't even matter. It was happening on the retail side. It was also happening from the institution side as well. So hedge funds and private money as well, large funds. It was very difficult to move in and out of crypto unless you had a solid exchange and really a low tier bank. Let's say like a small credit union or somewhere where they didn't really pay it any mind, right? And really, you weren't doing any sizable transactions, or you just had a dope exchange like Kraken, no pun intended, not sponsored, but Kraken, amazing. It was happening, and that was a trickle effect. So glad to see this. This was withdrawn. The federal board withdrawal, giving banks guidance on crypto activities. And you're going to see more regulatory clarity as well when it comes to crypto assets, and realizing that it's not going anywhere and it's the way of the future. Next article here, Arthur Hayes says Bitcoin is primed to benefit amid trade war, deglobalization, and U.S.-China decoupling. Here's how. So BitMEX founder Arthur Hayes making news again. He's been coming around recently. I don't know what happened to him before, but he was like MIA and now he's back. So Arthur Hayes says Bitcoin will benefit from what's going on from a macroeconomic standpoint. He's saying China's not alone. It's every major economy needs to print a bunch of money to basically cushion the effects of this attempted divorce, this decline in globalization. But at the end of the day, yeah, they're going to print money. Bitcoin benefits. So essentially, the fact that they're able to print more gives value to Bitcoin, because you can't just print more Bitcoin. You can't just say we need to do something, let's print more Bitcoin, and it just can't happen. And that's the value. That is the value right there of crypto as a whole. That's the value right there of Bitcoin, right? There's a finite supply. You can't just go and print. That's the value, right? Here, he's saying now the reciprocal of the current account deficit in the U.S. is our financial account surplus. And so all these dollars that got earned, the trillions of dollars that got earned selling stuff to America, got recycled into treasury bonds and stocks and Max 7, all the big U.S. tech stocks. So mathematically, if the U.S. President Donald Trump is serious about reducing the current account to zero, then foreigners have to sell stocks. It's just math. Love what he's saying here. Great, smart guy. But ultimately, we're seeing the value of Bitcoin. That is the value of Bitcoin right there. You can't, no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what's happening, you can't just go out and print Bitcoin. You can't just say, there's all the Bitcoin's gone off the exchanges. I just can't get any more. And you know what, guys? Let's just print some more Bitcoin. Let's mine some more Bitcoin. If there's no more Bitcoin left, that's the value. The value goes up. Supply and demand. It's amazing. So here we say, just finishing this article here, while some in the crypto space suggests market turmoil may prompt central banks to start accumulating Bitcoin, which would be a good idea, the market turmoil really may call for them to start accumulating Bitcoin to diversify their asset holdings. Hayes believes central banks will continue to turn to gold as a hedge and not the flagship crypto asset. I don't know. I would say eventually, if it becomes clear, even more clear, that if we get like a major country, not El Salvador, maybe we go to a large country like Canada, like a larger country starts buying Bitcoin, not just like these small countries that it's like their last hope of like being relevant. And no shade to El Salvador. El Salvador is great, but I'm saying a large country that does volume, right? If we get a large country like that to really start buying Bitcoin, and because right now the United States is saying they're stockpiling it, but it's really, from what's been reported, it's really just been a reallocation. They haven't bought any because they already had some through seizures and pretty much the government had some. That was asset forfeiture, right? They got it. They arrested a drug dealer. The drug dealer had Bitcoin, and instead of us selling that Bitcoin like we did before, we're just gonna hold it, right? That's not buying Bitcoin, right? So until that happens, and it could happen with, I think it needs to be a large country though. El Salvador is doing it. I think it really needs to be like a large country, like China publicly comes out, or the United States actually comes out and says we're buying. Or Canada as well, and maybe somewhere over the UK, maybe, right? I think that would be the turning point, right? I think there's going to reach a point where central banks are going to have to turn away from the old way of doing things. Gold's a good play, but there's more value in Bitcoin, if that makes sense. So, here he said, I don't actually think they're mentally prepared for that sort of leap. They understand gold. They've been trained in gold. They've read history books about gold. This is okay. So I didn't read the rest of the article. He ends up saying what I'm saying anyway. Like, they're going to go to what they go to, but I think there's going to reach a point where it's adapt or die, right? He's right, but it's going to reach a point where they have to pivot to something new, right? And it's either adapt or die. The investors are going to say it. The customers, the high value customers they have on the balance sheet, they're going to say it. We want Bitcoin. We don't want this gold hedge. We want Bitcoin. We see the value in Bitcoin. We want to have that competitive edge, right? I believe that's going to happen. I believe initially, I think the gold play is going to play out, but they're going to reach this point where you're going to have to pivot. You're going to have to, because other central banks are going to pivot, and no one wants to get left behind, right? So here, U.S. banks are free to begin supporting Bitcoin, says Michael Saylor. So here in this article, Bitcoin adoption may accelerate after the U.S. Federal Reserve eased restrictions on banks engaging in crypto activities, opening the door for institutional participation. Bitcoin adoption among United States financial institutions could see a major boost as the Federal Reserve withdrew that guidance, which is 100% true. But what Michael Saylor here is saying is that the bank, you don't have to be afraid anymore, right? And going back to the article that we just talked about, with withdrawing that guidance for banks, now they can begin supporting Bitcoin. That's true. But more importantly, now the consumers, the retailers, the customers don't have to fear with getting their accounts closed due to dealing in crypto assets. Huge. So guys, definitely wanted to highlight that. Let's dive into what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin broke out, guys. You see the breakout. You see our levels were respected perfectly. Okay. Our levels are were respected perfectly. We see the breakout, so we can remove that. I believe it's a continuation. I want to see this level broken. It broke the 2 levels here. Broke this level. Cleared this level as well that we were waiting on. This is actually supposed to be here, but broke this level as well. Broke up. A little bit of a retest coming right now. With that retest, we are looking to see. Let's see if we can break above this level. Let's not get stuck here. Holy cow. Let's not get stuck here. Like, let's not go through that. But looks like continuation like we've been waiting for. We'll see how big this pullback is coming down. So we can actually remove this right here. We can remove it. Want to see how big this retracement is going to be, and if we can continue upwards and head in direction. It looks like the momentum's there, guys. The reason why I say momentum's there, you can see it. Like, you can feel it, you can see it. Bitcoin's over 90,000 again, sitting at 94, and we can see how everything is starting to trend upwards again. Taking a look here at crypto fear greed, it's at 53. Like, you can feel it, right? The accumulation time was when everyone was pretty much scared to death about even being affiliated or in the crypto space, right? That was when you wanted to accumulate, as we talk about all the time. And now is when we're going to start seeing the FOMO start coming back in. You got Cardano up to 70 cents. Solana is still hanging back there, but nothing's really pumped yet. But we're seeing, if you look at the 7 days, mostly green. Most projects are green. So we see that, especially in the top 50, most are green. You can see it here. So with that being said, a ton of opportunity, ton of growth still to come. And I do believe that flash crash that we seen a couple of weeks ago really was just, it was going to happen either way, I believe. But I think macroeconomic conditions forced it to happen. And is the reason why people are saying it's going to happen, but it was just need a reason, right? Just need a reason. People need a reason to sell. You got a whole bunch of new people in crypto that were never in, that were waiting, because really what was happening is you don't want to be scrutinized for investing in tech, right? And that's what was happening, right? you were getting shot at from both sides. You had the banks didn't want to bank with you. Then you had the government's calling it a scam and telling people don't touch it, right? But then you had a handful of people making millions upon millions and billions investing in the tech, right? So now everything's coming together and is being accepted as a whole, and the opportunity is endless right now, endless to be in crypto. So love what I'm seeing. Very, very excited. Very excited, really, for the next 60 days. I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the crypto markets, guys. Definitely wanted to give you a market update because the best is yet to come. And I'm very excited, and you should be as well. Hope you guys got some value out of this video. Keep moving forward in everything that you do. We'll see you soon.